this Sunday night, we're hearing from one of the passengers on board the Delta flight that was forced to land because of an issue with cabin pressure.
That's right. News specialist Shelby Lofton spoke with her, and Shelby, she says this was painful and scary, right?
Dan and Debbie, very much so. This plane was full of people heading to Portland this morning, but shortly after takeoff, they started hearing noises and said they felt the plane dipping, and that's when their ears started popping. This passenger told me it felt like the plane wasn't ascending as quickly as it normally would. Jacqueline Blaine was heading to Oregon for a work trip with several of her colleagues, and she says several people, including her coworkers, started to get an earache, and it got worse. She remembers everyone around her grabbing their ears and noses. Some were crying. Others complained of vertigo and head pain. She said a baby was screaming from the pain. I spoke to one of Blaine's colleagues on the phone, and she said it felt like someone had stabbed her in the ear. People's ears and noses began to bleed, and Delta Airlines did confirm to us this plane was unable to pressurize above 10,000 feet. Blaine told me there wasn't a lot of communication from the pilot or flight attendants. She remembers them telling passengers the plane was going back to the airport under the captain's discretion, but they didn't explain why. Blaine says about 11 to 15 people were met by paramedics at Salt Lake International, and she says Delta paid for lift rides to the hospital, where some were told their eardrums had ruptured. It was a frightening situation for many on board.
It was scary. You just don't know what's wrong past that. She put her finger in her ear and was like, oh my God, my ear's bleeding. And then my other colleague 2 rows behind me, I look back and he's in tears. And then, and just to see all of my colleagues, the people that I work with every day and care about, and I'm like, oh gosh, is everybody going to be okay?
And Delta sent us a statement saying, in part, quote, "We sincerely apologize to our customers for the inconvenience and delay of their travels. The safety of our customers and people remains Delta's most important priority." Now, Blaine was able to board another flight to Portland, but several people traveling with her did not make it because of what happened today. One of her colleagues who went to the hospital told me on the phone she was given antibiotics and instruction to follow up with an ear, nose, and throat doctor while her eardrum heals. I'll send it back to you in the studio.